What if the universe is infinite? Imagine standing outside on a quiet night, looking up at the sky, filled with stars. Each star twinkles as if it's part of something larger, something beyond our understanding. But what if the universe itself is infinite? Is the universe infinite? We know that the observable universe stretches about 93 billion light-years across, but what lies beyond what we can see? The observable universe is just a small fraction of what might actually be out there, and the idea of an infinite universe suggests that space could go on forever, with no end in sight. There would be no edge to the cosmos, no final boundary, just endless space stretching out into the unknown. The concept of an infinite universe opens up the possibility of parallel universes as well. If the universe is infinite, then the chances are high that there are other universes, each with its own laws of physics, different histories, and alternate versions of reality. Imagine a universe where gravity works in reverse, or where time flows differently. The possibilities become endless. Some even speculate that there could be infinite versions of Earth, each one with slightly different events taking place. But an infinite universe doesn't just mean more stars or galaxies. It also implies that there could be infinite possibilities for life. If the universe is truly infinite, the odds of there being other civilizations somewhere out there in the vastness of space increase dramatically. These civilizations could be more advanced than ours, existing in worlds far from our reach. It's a tantalizing thought. Could there be alien civilizations waiting to be discovered? But what about time? If the universe is infinite, what does that mean for time itself? Some theories suggest that time might also be infinite, stretching out without end. This raises some interesting questions. Could the past and future be intertwined in ways we can't comprehend? If time is infinite, does it mean that everything that's ever happened, or will ever happen, is destined to repeat itself in one form or another? The idea of an infinite universe forces us to rethink our very understanding of time and space. However, the concept of infinity also brings up a troubling thought. If the universe is infinite, does that mean everything is doomed to repeat itself over and over? This idea, known as the eternal recurrence, suggests that in an infinite universe, the same events might play out again and again, forever. If that's the case, then every choice you make, every action you take, could be repeated in some other part of the infinite cosmos. This leads to the unsettling idea that time, space, and events may not be as linear as we've always believed. And then there's the question of the universe's future. If the universe is truly infinite, it could continue expanding forever. But as it does, galaxies would drift further apart, stars would burn out, and eventually, the universe could become cold and dark. This is known as the heat death of the universe, where all matter and energy are evenly distributed, and no further work can be done. It's a bleak picture, but it's one possible outcome of an infinite universe. Even with this seemingly inevitable end, the idea of an infinite universe is still a source of great fascination. The very notion that space, time, and existence could stretch on forever forces us to think about our place in the cosmos. We are just one tiny part of an incomprehensibly vast universe, and the possibilities are endless. If the universe is infinite, then there's no telling what we might discover or learn as we continue to explore the unknown. Ultimately, the concept of an infinite universe challenges everything we think we know. It forces us to rethink our understanding of space, time, and the very nature of reality. While we may never fully understand the true extent of the universe, the idea of infinity sparks our curiosity and drives us to explore further. The universe may be infinite, but our quest for knowledge has only just begun. Have you ever wondered what existed before the Big Bang? We often think of the Big Bang as the beginning of everything, the birth of space, time, matter, and energy. But what if the Big Bang wasn't truly the start, but rather a moment in a never-ending cycle of creation and destruction? What was before the Big Bang? The Big Bang, around 13.8 billion years ago, is the event that marks the origin of our universe. It's often described as an explosion of space itself, causing all the matter we know today to expand outward from an incredibly hot, dense state. But here's the mystery. What was there before this explosion? The truth is, we don't know for sure, but we do have some intriguing ideas. One of the most thought-provoking theories comes from the concept of the cyclic universe. This theory proposes that the Big Bang wasn't the first event of its kind. Instead, our universe might be part of an endless cycle, where each Big Bang is preceded by a big crunch, when the universe contracts back in on itself, only to explode again, starting a new cycle. If this theory is true, the before of the Big Bang might simply be the end of the previous cycle, a kind of cosmic reset button. Another theory, known as the quantum creation model, suggests that the universe could have spontaneously emerged from a quantum vacuum state. In this view, time and space themselves didn't exist before the Big Bang. Instead, the Big Bang marks the beginning of time, and asking, what was there before, might be a meaningless question. Without time, there is no before to speak of. But what if the universe isn't even part of a cycle? Some scientists propose that the Big Bang could have been a random fluctuation in a multiverse, a collection of universes, each with its own set of physical laws. In this model, our Big Bang is just one of countless others happening throughout the multiverse. What was before the Big Bang, in this case, might not even apply to our universe. The idea of the multiverse suggests that the Big Bang wasn't unique. It could have happened millions of times, in countless other realities. And there's the fascinating concept of the eternal inflation theory, which posits that our universe is just one bubble in a vast cosmic foam. According to this theory, after the Big Bang, the universe continued expanding rapidly in an inflationary period. But this inflation doesn't stop. It's still happening, generating new bubbles, or universes all the time. This suggests that our Big Bang could have been just one of many, with new ones constantly being born in the multiverse. The concept of before the Big Bang is so deeply tied to our understanding of time and space, which is why it's so hard to answer. We think of time as something linear. There's a clear progression from past to present to future. But the moment the Big Bang occurred, time as we know it began. So the idea of before becomes a tricky concept. If time began with the Big Bang, then could there have even been a before? Perhaps not. This leads to some truly profound questions about the nature of the universe. If time itself began with the Big Bang, does that mean everything is bound by time? Our entire existence, the universe, and all that we experience? Or is time just a construct, something that exists because we perceive it, but not necessarily a fundamental aspect of reality? And here's a mind-bending thought. What if the Big Bang wasn't an event, but a transition? Perhaps just as a caterpillar becomes a butterfly, the universe underwent a transformation into its current state, but was always here in a different form. In that case, the question becomes, what came before the form we now call the universe? While we may never know the definitive answer to what came before the Big Bang, these theories offer a fascinating glimpse into the mystery of our origins. The truth is, the more we learn about the cosmos, the more we realize how much we still don't know. The very idea that time and space as we understand them might not have existed before the Big Bang challenges everything we think we know about the universe and our place in it. The search for answers continues, and perhaps one day, Science will reveal more about the deepest, most fundamental mysteries of our universe. But for now, we can only ponder these possibilities and wonder just how far back the story of the universe truly goes. Look up at the night sky. Each tiny dot of light represents a star, and around many of those stars orbit planets, some of which may be eerily similar to our own. But here's the question that has haunted humanity for centuries. Are we alone? Is there life beyond Earth? Statistically speaking, the numbers are staggering. Our galaxy, the Milky Way, contains over 100 billion stars, and we now know that most of them have planets. Some of these planets lie in what's called the Goldilocks zone. Not too hot, not too cold, just the right conditions for liquid water to exist. And where there is water, life as we know it might have a chance to thrive. But despite these mind-blowing possibilities, we have yet to find definitive proof of extraterrestrial life. Why? This paradox is best captured by the Fermi paradox, named after physicist Enrico Fermi, who famously asked, "Where is everybody?" If the universe is so vast, and if life should be common, why haven't we found any signs of it? One explanation is that intelligent civilizations might be out there, but they don't want to be found. Maybe advanced alien species have strict rules against interfering with developing civilizations, like us. This idea, known as the zoo hypothesis, suggests that Earth is under observation, much like animals in a nature reserve. Aliens could be watching us, waiting for us to reach a certain level of technological or societal advancement before making contact. Another possibility is that intelligent civilizations tend to destroy themselves before they can explore the stars. This is known as the Great Filter, the idea that somewhere along the path from simple life to advanced spacefaring species, there is a nearly impossible barrier to overcome. Maybe life often evolves, but never gets past a certain stage, wiping itself out through war, environmental destruction, or technological catastrophe. But what if we've already encountered alien life without realizing it? Some scientists propose that microbial life could exist right here in our own solar system. Mars, with its ancient riverbeds and ice caps, may have once supported life. Europa, a moon of Jupiter, has a vast ocean hidden beneath its icy crust, an ocean that might contain alien organisms thriving in the dark. And then there's Enceladus, a moon of Saturn, which ejects plumes of water into space containing organic compounds. Could these places hold the first extraterrestrial life we ever discover? And what about the possibility that life didn't start on Earth at all? Some scientists suggest panspermia, the idea that life may have traveled through space on asteroids or comets, seeding planets like Earth. If that's true, then life might be common throughout the universe, just waiting for the right conditions to develop into something more. And then there's the question of intelligent life. If there are civilizations more advanced than ours, why haven't they sent us a message? Some believe we may have already received signals, like the WOW signal, a mysterious radio burst detected in 1977 that has never been explained. What if this was an attempt at contact, and we simply didn't understand the message? Perhaps the most unsettling possibility is that we truly are alone, that in the vast, endless cosmos, Earth is the only place where life has emerged. If that's true, then our existence is unimaginably rare and precious, making our responsibility to protect and understand our world even greater. So, what do you think? Is life out there, just waiting to be found? Or are we the exception in an otherwise empty universe? Until we find proof, the mystery remains, leaving us to gaze up at the stars and wonder. Who, if anyone, is looking back? Imagine stepping into a machine, pressing a button, and suddenly finding yourself in ancient Egypt, watching the pyramids being built. Or fast-forwarding to the distant future, witnessing humanity's greatest achievements or its downfall. Why can't we travel through time? At first glance, time seems simple. It moves forward, second by second, minute by minute. But according to Einstein's theory of relativity, time is not a fixed, universal constant. It's relative, meaning it moves at different speeds depending on how fast you're traveling or how strong the gravitational pull around you is. In fact, time dilation is already a proven phenomenon. Astronauts aboard the International Space Station age slightly slower than people on Earth because they are moving at high speeds in low gravity. But this effect is so small that it's barely noticeable, nowhere near the dramatic jumps in time that we see in movies. But what about traveling backward in time? That's where things get much more complicated. One of the biggest roadblocks is something called the grandfather paradox. Suppose you traveled back in time and accidentally prevented your grandfather from meeting your grandmother. If that happened, you would never be born, meaning you could never travel back in time in the first place. This paradox suggests that time travel to the past might be impossible because it creates contradictions. Physicists have tried to find ways around this paradox. One idea is the many worlds interpretation of quantum mechanics. This theory suggests that if you changed something in the past, you wouldn't erase your own existence. You would simply create a new timeline, a parallel universe, where events unfold differently. But even if that were true, we still don't have any technology that allows us to move between timelines. Another theory proposes that time loops, or closed time-like curves, could exist. These loops would allow time travelers to go back in time, but somehow prevent them from altering events in a way that causes paradoxes. Essentially, the universe would correct itself to prevent logical contradictions. But so far, this is purely theoretical, with no experimental proof. Even if traveling to the past is impossible, could we still travel far into the future? In theory, yes. If we could build a spaceship capable of traveling close to the speed of light, time would slow down dramatically for the passengers inside. A person on that spaceship might experience only a few years, while thousands of years pass on Earth. So, in a way, traveling to the future is possible. It just requires technology far beyond what we currently have. Some scientists suggest that wormholes, hypothetical tunnels in space-time, could act as shortcuts, allowing instant travel between distant points in time and space. But wormholes, if they exist, would be incredibly unstable, requiring exotic forms of matter with negative energy to keep them open. Right now, we have no idea how to create or control such matter. And then there's the possibility that time is simply not meant to be manipulated. What if the structure of the universe has built-in laws that prevent time travel, no matter how advanced our technology becomes? Maybe causality, the rule that causes must come before effects, is an unbreakable law of physics. So, is time travel possible? Maybe. But right now, it remains one of the greatest mysteries of science. For now, we are all time travelers, moving forward, 1 second at a time, into an unknown future. But who knows? Maybe one day, someone will discover a way to break free from time's grip, rewriting everything we thought we knew about reality. What do you think? If time travel were possible, where or when would you go? Imagine waking up one day and realizing that everything around you, your friends, your family, even your own thoughts, aren't real in the way you think they are. What if the world you experience is just an illusion, a highly sophisticated simulation created by an advanced intelligence? What if reality is a simulation? This idea isn't just science fiction. Some of the world's greatest thinkers, from philosophers to physicists, have considered the possibility that we are living in a simulation. The argument is simple. If a civilization ever became advanced enough to create perfectly realistic virtual worlds, then there's a good chance we are already inside one. The most famous version of this idea comes from philosopher Nick Bostrom, who proposed the simulation hypothesis. He argues that if advanced civilizations can create realistic simulations of reality, perhaps to run historical models or even just for entertainment, then the number of simulated realities could vastly outnumber real ones. And if that's the case, then the chances that we are living in the one real world, instead of one of the billions of simulations, are incredibly small. Think about video games. A few decades ago, games were nothing but simple pixels. Now, they have complex AI, realistic physics, and entire open worlds where characters interact and evolve. Imagine what games might look like in 1,000 years. What if, in the future, simulations become so advanced that conscious beings inside them wouldn't even realize they were simulated? If we are in a simulation, how would we know? Some scientists believe that glitches in the universe, strange occurrences that don't seem to make sense, could be clues. For example, quantum mechanics suggests that reality behaves differently when observed, as if the universe only renders itself when someone is looking, much like a video game that only loads graphics when a player moves into a new area. Could this be evidence that we're living in a programmed reality? Another clue could be the fundamental limits of our universe. Just like a video game has restrictions on how much data it can process, our universe seems to have strict rules, like the speed of light being the ultimate speed limit. Could this be a limitation of the simulation's processing power? And then there's the idea of déjà vu. Have you ever felt like you've experienced a moment before? Some suggest that these eerie repetitions could be small errors in the simulation, similar to glitches in a video game. What if déjà vu is just a sign that something in the program briefly repeated itself? If we are in a simulation, then the biggest question is, who created it? Are we part of an experiment? Are we an artificial intelligence inside a computer program, unaware of our digital nature? Or is this world designed for someone else's entertainment, like a cosmic version of The Sims? But here's the strangest part. Does it even matter? Even if we discovered that reality is simulated, would that change the way we live? If our thoughts, emotions, and experiences feel real, then in a way, they are real. Whether we exist in a physical universe or inside an advanced computer. And if this is a simulation, does that mean death is just an exit from the program? Could our consciousness continue existing in some form beyond this world? Or would we simply be deleted, like closing an application? So, what do you think? Could everything you know, your life, your memories, even your sense of self, be nothing more than lines of code in an unimaginable simulation? And if that were true, what would you do with that knowledge? Conclusion. The unanswered questions of the universe. We've explored some of the biggest, most mind-bending questions that humanity has ever asked. Is the universe infinite? What existed before the Big Bang? Are we alone in the cosmos? Why can't we travel through time? And what if everything we know is just a simulation? Each of these questions challenges our understanding of reality. They make us realize just how little we truly know. But maybe that's the beauty of it. The unknown is what keeps us searching, thinking, and imagining. Think about it. If we knew all the answers, what would be left? The mystery of existence itself is what fuels science, philosophy, and even the way we dream about the future. Every discovery we make leads to even more questions, and maybe that cycle never truly ends. Perhaps the universe isn't meant to be fully understood. Maybe our role isn't to find absolute answers, but to keep questioning, to stay curious, and to embrace the mystery. Because in the end, isn't that what makes life so fascinating? So tonight, as you close your eyes and drift into sleep, let your mind wander. Think about the infinite possibilities, the hidden truths, the questions that may never be answered. And who knows? Maybe, just maybe, in another reality, in another version of existence, you've already found the answers. Sweet dreams.